Hi everybody, I'm Michael and I'm an alcoholic. I'm a little nervous right now. When my sponsor, Greg is my sponsor, when he told me I was speaking, I said I got 2 months to come out with the idea not to speak. But couldn't come up with a reason not to speak, so I'm here. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, as Greg said, and I'm a member in good standings with my home group, which is Central Group. We do hold 21 meetings a week there. I believe in service, and actually I'm supposed to tell what happened, what it was like, and what it's like now. Okay, I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm originally from Fayetteville. That's an unusual thing for Fayetteville, since Fort Bragg is right there. Everybody is transit. You're either in or you're out. But I was always in. I grew up with a single parent, just my mom. I had 6 siblings. I'm next to the last one. Some people call that the knee baby. I don't know why they get to the knee baby. I guess the last one is the foot baby. I don't know. I don't know. We grew up in somewhat, we wasn't rich and we wasn't po-po, but we was financially challenged there, and I grew up looking for and searching for, later I found out, to acceptance. And I remember in my earlier years going to school and acting out in order to be some type of attention, because I had all these other siblings at home. They were getting all the attention, and I wasn't getting any. So I went to school and I acted out and got in some trouble. And I remember around the age of 9 years old, running away from home one time, and my mom act like she didn't even really care. She kept on doing what she was doing. I was only gone for a couple hours. It seemed like I was gone for a week. But I got back home, and my first experience with alcohol, my mother was a drinker all the way up to the age when I turned 10. When I turned 10, she got saved, and there was no more alcohol in the home. So, but prior to that, it was alcohol in the home, and I used to sneak and drink some of her alcohol or whatever. And I liked the feeling and the effect that it gave me at the time. Then, as I was coming up, I was discovering more and more things about myself, and I didn't know what was really going on, and I really didn't have anyone to talk to. So I turned to the people, my friends, and got their advice of what was going on with me, and start discovering little things about myself. And the alcohol made it even easier to discover those things. So at the age of 15, I discovered I liked school, which I thought I didn't like school. And I wanted to be a part of school. And I remember going out. I was just going into high school in the 10th grade, and they had cheerleading tryouts. And I wanted to be a cheerleader. And it was the first time, I went to 71st High School, and it was the first time they ever had a male cheerleader, and I wanted to be the first. So I went out for cheerleading, and I didn't make it. So I got mad and upset, and so I left campus that day and went and got drunk. And then I came back, and an instructor put me to the side and said, well, why don't you try it out for a school mascot? Maybe that might, you might get that. So I went out and tried out for a school mascot, and I got it. And I enjoyed being a school mascot because I'm a clown at heart, somewhat, and so I school mascot and used to go to football games and act crazy and have fun and do whatever I needed to do. And then all of a sudden I got into a relationship. You know, at the age of 16, you're in love, the love of my life. And I remember this particular evening, we was at a football game, and the love of my life was getting in trouble. So I'm like, oh no, no. Then the police had them, and I was like, I'm trying to do, make the crowd happy, but I'm focusing on them. And then all of a sudden, I guess the stupidity that I can think of now came out, and I decided to get out of my uniform and go and fight the police to help my friend. So, when I got back to school on the next day, they took away my uniform. I was no longer school mascot. So what I did, I went to my locker, I wrote a note saying that I, so-and-so, give Michael Buffet permission to drop out of school. And I took it, signed my mother's name, and took it to the principal, and he accepted it. And went back home, got drunk, acted crazy, and every time I would get up in the morning, act like I was going to school, and my mom would go to work, and then I'd sneak back in the house. One day she caught me. So, I don't know. We didn't get punishment. We didn't get time out. We got straight out whoopings. So she gave me a good whooping, and I got mad at her, and I went to my cousin's house, and I said, well, I'm too old to run away from home now, so let's go to Job Corps. So he said, okay, we'll go. So we went downtown, and we talked to the recruiter, and the recruiter said if we get our parents to sign the paperwork, we can go to Job Corps. And you know what I did? Signed my mother's name. I was good at that. So I signed my mother's name to go to Job Corps. Then I went back home, and on the date, 2 days prior to me supposedly leaving, because I needed some things in order to go, I informed her that I was going to Job Corps. And she was happy about that. She said it was probably do me some good. And which it did. And, it made me discover a little bit more about myself. And I went to Job Corps, and I don't know if anyone in here ever went to Job Corps, but it's Party City. A group of young folks there just having a good time. Sure, we had classes that we had to attend, but on the weekend it was open door season. So I began to gain trust with the staff there, and we had an RA on our floor, and he made me the assistant RA. And my job was to pass out washing detergent. So if you needed some washing detergent, you need to come see me. So I started a side business. You give me $2, I give you an extra bag of washing detergent. So then when we had our weekend passes, I had money so I could go and get other items that people needed. So I start selling stuff. Whatever anybody needed, I had it. I'll go make an opportunity to get it. And then I also, matter of fact, I need to say where I went to Job Corps. I went to Brunswick, Georgia, the Job Corps. And they have St. Simon's Island there. It's a very beautiful island and nice restaurants. And one of the instructors there got me a job at one of the restaurants. And what did she do that for? She put me right in the smack middle of alcohol. So when they wasn't looking, I was drinking. And when I wasn't drinking, I was stealing it, taking it back on campus, selling it. So I got hooked up into that, and then finally I graduated there in the culinary program there, and they told me it was my time to leave there. So I got out of there, and I went to I came home for a couple months and it got kind of wild and crazy and got in some trouble. Not no heavy trouble, just some light trouble. And I call light trouble when you don't actually go to jail. You know, they just write you a little ticket and send you on your way. A little light trouble. So I said, well, I had an older brother that I looked up to, and he was in the military. So I said, well, I got my GED, I got a cooking certificate, I'm going in the military. So I decided to go and enlist in the military, and I went to basic training, and just so happened I had an uncle that's a lieutenant colonel, that was a lieutenant colonel. And he was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So every weekend, I would spend the weekend at his house instead of staying at the barracks with the fellas. I could get on pass because he would come get me. So I would bring liquor back with me every time. And I started my little business again. And I got in some trouble, but I did finish basic. Then I went on to AIT, which I got in some real trouble. I decided that I could go and travel because I had a little bit more money. I could do a little bit more things. So I got to where I was stationed in Killeen, Texas. And I would get in the car with some friends and I would travel with them and do some things and would never make it back in time for formation. So I kept getting in trouble. So I went to my sergeant major and I told him I want out of the military. He said, no, you're not getting out of the military. He said, now you can go, you got a choice. You can go ahead on and complete your job, or you can go, I think it was like a Starcade or something, for 3 months. So that didn't work. That wasn't good enough for me. And they didn't have Don't Ask, Don't Tell then. So I told him, I said, you know what, I'm gay. Let me out of here. He was like, but Faye, you is not gay. Come on, man. You is not. I said, put on your pants. Let's see. He said, okay, you want out. I understand. You want out. And within 3 days, I was on a plane back home. So I came back to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I began to hang out with people, places, and things, and life began to close in on me. Now I don't know what to do with myself, and got all this free time, and I was in and out of little odd jobs, waiting on tables or cooking here, or cooking there, or whatever I could get. And I remember just trying to hustle out of whatever I could do. If I had to, I'm trying to put it in a nice way. I'm trying to think of it in a nice way. Whatever I had to do in order to survive, and that's what I did. I kept getting in trouble, kept getting arrested, and I remember my last drunk in my last 2 months of drinking, because it became on my birthday, I decided I was going to have this party and I was going to, just have this good time. And this was in 1996. I didn't say my sobriety date. I'm sorry. My sobriety date is March 3rd, 1996. I decided to have this party and stuff, and I invited some friends over and we got drunk, and then it was this certain person that used to come over to my house all the time, and I used to do things for him and help him out. So this one particular time, he called me and said that he was sending his cousin over to so I could do some things for him, and I said okay, and it turned out to be an undercover officer. So that's when I got scared. I got arrested on that particular night, and I was facing 36 years in prison. And I was really, really scared, and I didn't know what to do. And this is the beginning of my road to recovery. And I stayed in jail 7 days, the longest I ever stayed in jail, because any other time I went, my mother came directly down there to get me. She was my greatest enabler. And I had a chance to think. And when I got out, when they finally let me out, I said I didn't want to live this life anymore. I didn't want to go to prison an alcoholic like I was. I didn't want to have those feelings and those urges like I was having. And I heard stories about prison. And I didn't want to be part of that story. So I said I'll do anything I have to do. So I talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer sent me to a place in Fayetteville called Fayetteville Areas and Sentencing. So what they did a background on me, and they took a listing of everything that I have ever did in my life. And part of my life, I went to school in D.C. When I got out the military in 1989, I moved to D.C. to go to school, to the Cornell School of Washington, which I completed. And I had got a job at the on the Senate side of the Capitol building. And it was a real good life. It was real good, but this big city and the country boy just don't mix. It was too fast for me. And I got into some things that I really wasn't equipped to handle. And I remember calling my boss and telling him that I couldn't come to work. I was so paranoid that I couldn't even go into work. And he met me on the steps of the Capitol building my last day there to hand me my last paycheck. That's how paranoid I had got. I got to where that delusional stage of everybody's out to get me, I'm going to jail for this, that. But getting back to, she filled that resume up so good, I thought I was this big old person when she actually let me look at it. I was like, oh, I had a real good life. But it was all lies. She didn't put in any of the times I went to jail, all the fights I got into, any of that. She made me look actually like I was a decent citizen, which I wasn't. So when it was time to go to court, I went to court and went to Superior Court, and my lawyer didn't show up. Said she had another case bigger than mine. So she sent someone else that didn't know anything about my case. But that's why today I believe in the power of prayer. You know, I was praying and hoping that, you know, something happened. And that was just God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself at that particular time. We got there, and the judge looked at me, and they went through whatever they do and talk and whatever. And so at the end of everything, he asked me to stand up, and he said, Mr. Bethea, do you have anything to say? I said, yes, Your Honor. By this time, I had been in the program 3 months. I had been in Alcoholics Anonymous 3 months, so I had some type of foundation. And I sat there, I stood there crying and telling him, Your Honor, I'm an alcoholic. This is as long as I've ever been clean. I've been in recovery now a little over 90 days. You know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can. And then he looked down and he said, okay, I see in the police report that they really didn't want you. They wanted your connections throughout the city. So, looking at this, he said, I'm going to give you 36 years. Right then and there, I just boo-hooed. Water was coming. Water was coming. Water was coming. And my brother had went with me, and I looked back at my brother like, this is the last time I'm going to see you. And my brother said, "You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right." And then he said, "I'm gonna give you suspended sentence. I'm gonna give you 4 years probation, 72 hours community service." And so then my face just lit up. I said, "Oh, I got another chance. Thank you, thank you." And I did that. My sponsor at the time, I went to him and told him what happened. Right after I left out the courtroom, I called my sponsor and went to him and we talked. And he said, "Okay, they gave you a set list of instructions to do. You're not working, so the 72 hours should be done automatically." He said, you got an income of some type coming in, so start paying your money." So that's what I did. And I began to work the steps with him and began to work the program as he took me through it. But around about 9 months of clean time, I got real sick. I got real sick. And they had to ship me to Duke. And then they called my family in and told my family I only had 6 months to live. So right then and there, I wanted to drink. I wanted to get drunk, but I was in a hospital setting. So I called my brother, which I knew was my partner. He's gonna bring me something to drink. And he said, "No, call your sponsor." So that's what I did. I called my sponsor and talked to my sponsor, and he said, "That's man telling you you have 6 months. What did God say?" I said, "I don't know what God said." He said, "Well, ask him." So I began to pray, and I got through, and they put me on a regimen of, they came to me and said they had some experimental drugs and whatever, and asked me would I take them. I said, "Yeah, if it's a chance that I'm going to live, I won't take them." And I began to take the drugs, and I was taking 47 pills a day. And I could smell it coming out my skins, but I took it because I wanted to live. And he said, "Just like you doing that, that's how you should do your recovery." And so he began to pop up over my house and would take me to, we getting ready to do step 3, come on. We getting ready to do 4th step. We getting ready to do the 5th step. Now when we came to the 5th step, I was so nervous and scared that I was like, I really don't want to tell this man everything I done did in life. I really don't. So I'm the typical alcoholic. I had a book here with something I want to tell him, and a book over here with something he'll never know. So he said, "Go get your paperwork," and I went and got the book that I wanted to tell him. So we began to talk, and he began to tell me some stuff about him. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, I wouldn't told nobody that." So I felt a little at ease with him and got a little closer with him. So I said, "Hold up." I said, "Hold up, George. I got the wrong book." So I went and got the real book with the real stuff in it and began to tell him, read it off and tell him and explain to him what was going on and this and that. And I did my 5th step with him, and I think I became a better man after doing it. I have nothing to hide today. I'm not ashamed of my life today. I'm glad that I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's a part of my life on a daily basis. And I began to do service work. Now, my sponsor, he was into service work within the home group, and he was real big into that. He didn't like to go out and do other service work. But I came connected with 2 women in the program that just took me by the hand and said, "Wherever we go, you go." And they did outside service work out to the detox centers, and they did home visits, 12-step calls, and I really enjoyed that. So I began to do that. I got me a 12-step buddy, and every time a 12-step call came in and they called us from Intergroup, I enjoy going out and doing the 12-step calls. And so that's what I did for many, many, many years. And then, as Greg said, when we open up, we have a clubhouse there. And the president at the time, Mr. Jesse, took me up under his wings. And every morning, he used to go down, open up the clubhouse at 7 o'clock in the morning. And every morning at 8, I was there. And he would have me sweep, mop, clean up, get ready for the 12 noon meeting. And it became habit, and I began to do it on a regular basis. So then he got me connected with the Alco Club board, which I started doing some service work with. And that continued up until still today. I'm still on the board. I was the Alco Club president for about 8 to 9 years. I'm now the Alco Club treasurer. So I believe highly in service work. I believe getting involved. I'm still like my sponsor, my first sponsor though. I don't go outside my home group that often. And this is like a culture shock to me. Because when Greg told me I was coming to Southern Pines to speak, I was like, Greg, you know I don't go out of Fayetteville. What in the world? But I guess this is God doing for me what I can't do for myself. And so I began to do a lot of service work, and I began to work with my sponsees. And I remember my very first sponsee. I was so gung-ho. And now I know everybody gets like that. They get that first sponsee, come on, we get ready to do this, we get ready to do that. And when they don't do it, come on, you got to do this, come on, you got to do this. And when they get drunk, it's like a piece of you got drunk. And I hated to see my sponsee get drunk. And my sponsor said, as long as you don't get drunk, you did everything you're supposed to do, so as long as you don't get drunk, you'll be all right. So I said, okay. He said, a sponsor is a person that's supposed to take you to the steps and guide you just in case they go back out and get drunk. And you did your job. I said, okay, thank you. But I still was hurting. And to this day, every time I see that young man, I try to talk him back into the rooms, but it don't work. It's not worked yet. So I'm gonna let it go one day. Just not today. I don't even think I can talk a whole hour. I keep looking at the clock. Trying to see. That's my recovery. I hope y'all got something out of it. I'm not gonna talk